Hello and welcome to the 2017 Crocodile Trophy.
Crocodile Trophy means to me a real Aussie experience.
It's freezing in Canberra and the Croc's just a great race, and it's just good to escape the cold in Canberra.
Brutal, unbarmherzig.
Brutal, merciless and a lot of fun.
Spaß.
The city of Cairns in far north Queensland is the perfect setting, as it has been for the last 10 years, for mountain bikes' most difficult challenge. This is the hardest, the oldest and the most legendary mountain bike race in Australia and possibly the world. It's a perfect backdrop on the Great Barrier Reef in tropical North Queensland. I'm Mike Tomalaris and I'm joined by Martin Wisata. Martin, look at the pictures. It's perfect.
It is a wonderful start to a wonderful race where riders from 17 countries will cover 700 kilometres and more than 10,000 metres of elevation.
Among the riders is Canadian Hayley Smith, who's raced at the World Championships in Cairns.
It's definitely, we were just preparing for World Championships, so we're relying on all the training we did for XCO racing this year, and you know, we've done a lot of hours, but to be honest, we haven't done anything specific for this race, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think just going in with a good attitude and just trying to have some fun with it's going to be the best way to go. Yeah, we're, like Hayley said, no specific preparation, so we're just going to roll with it and see what happens.
Riders and crew arrive the day before the race to register. Of course, it's the Crocodile Trophy. There has to be a real crocodile. Here, the Czech crew of Quantum Racing has some fun with Herb.
This is Herb. Herb's a 4-year-old estuarine crocodile, and these are quite commonly found in the areas up here of far north Queensland. This guy's only small. He's only 4 years old. He's not even a metre long at this stage. They do have the potential to live to 100 years old and grow up to 5.5, 6 metres long.
Jürgen's lucky charm is a little crocodile he got given by his kids, and they told him, throw it at the real one if you see it, to scare it off.
On to the official rider briefing, and most important details of the 8-day stage race are discussed. Founder Gerhard Schirmbacher explains this year's stage plan. He's the race organiser, as is Regina Stanger, and they explain the logistical operations of the race.
The atmosphere is electric and there's a certain amount of race nerves in the air. But a third of the riders are from Australia. A lot of them come from very, very far away.
For me, it's the first to do a marathon, and especially with stage race. I'm used to go all-out effort, and I'm kind of worried about how I will manage my energy through a stage. You can armor it for one stage, but what you will have for the next day, maybe you can pay the price. So it would be a good challenge, I think.
Here is the course for the 2017 Crocodile Trophy. As always, it starts in the holiday capital of Cairns. The 8 stages take the riders onto the Atherton Tableland and Herberton, and then onto the Skyberry Coffee Plantation via the Wetherby Cattle Station and onto the finish in Port Douglas.
It's the essence of the Crocodile Trophy, the various terrains that the riders are passing through, mesmerizing landscape, bush on the coast, and very dry, hot sand inland.
It all starts at the Smithfield Mountain Bike Park in Cairns. The riders and spectators are getting ready.
As a UCI S2 race, the Crocodile Trophy is supervised by the commissaires of the International Cycling Federation, and this is a call-up to the start line.
The start gun goes off and the 23rd edition of the Croc Trophy is underway. A lap race with 33 kilometres and 900 metres of elevation and a taste of what's to come over the next few days. The track through the thick rainforest is technically demanding and challenges the riders right from the beginning.
Tempo is very, very high. Luckily, a bit of protection from the sun in the thick, lush rainforest.
As always, there are some big-name riders attracted to this race. Among them this year, Jana Bellamoina, the #1 in the international women's ranking and a well-known rider also here in Australia.
I feel better, after my crash on the World Championship, and I have few days more for holiday. Today just visiting the start, and the organization give me number, and I just do the race just for training, and it's good course, good single track, and good fun.
Hayley Smith is the only elite woman in the field and is curious what awaits her.
I'm honestly a little scared for the 7 days to come. I know it's going to get pretty tough and I'm going to be pretty tired, but I'm really excited to have the challenge.
In the men's category, the two Canadian riders dominate the elite field. Leandre Bouchard and Andrew L'Esperance dictate the pace. As for the Russian marathon national champion, Anton Sinstov, well, he suffered some bad luck.
On the short lap, my seat post is broken and I lost many time. But yeah, I finish, and tomorrow another day, so we will see.
The Quantum Racing team is a strong presence here this year. Andrei Slezak from Sydney, the team manager, is one of the strongest amateur riders.
As for Esperance, well, he's still in the rainforest, while Bouchard already crosses the finish line with a time gap of 1 minute and 29 seconds.
I wanted to put me right away in a good spot for the overall, so it's great to start the Crocodile like that, and we will see how will be the recovery over the days, and I'm really happy.
And it's a pretty relentless track. It's just you're either climbing or you're going down some pretty good technical, fast technical, so it's pretty relentless, and you know, it's nice to finish it.
A great day for Bouchard. He's in the overall leader's jersey, but in the far left, Martin, that's you in the green.
Yeah, I was going very hard that day, and I was rewarded with the fastest Austrian jersey.
While the crew packs up for the next stage, the riders are relaxing in their hotel in the beautiful city of Cairns. It's time to relax before the competition resumes as they leave the big smoke.
Fastest Australian, fastest amateur. You can't wear two jerseys, so you give one away. Which one is the one you're really after for this race?
Actually, the fast Australian, because I hate the red color.
How about you? Did you expect to wear a leader jersey on day two?
Certainly didn't expect it, but now that I've got one on, I think as long as my position on GC is above this guy by the end of the week, then it'll be a success.
Yay, good job! On to stage two now, Martin, and it's a marathon, 79 kilometres with 2,100 metres of elevation into the tablelands.
The first 12 kilometres through Cairns are neutral with a police escort, and then the start gun starts for the real racing of the Crocodile Trophy.
And the first few kilometres are on asphalt, and no surprises that the leader at this stage is a Tour de France legend, a four-time stage winner of the big race in France. It's Eric Decker, the Dutchman, trying his hand in a little bit of mountain bike racing. Great to see some big names challenge the Croc Trophy.
But the mountain bike pros won't let a road racer get away too far, especially once the asphalt stops and the gravel begins. The experienced marathon rider Andrei Slezak takes the descents with gusto, knows how to cross those rivers really, really fast. Also, Daniel Beresford and Ben May, the other Australians, they tackle the outback and certainly know how to descend on a mountain bike and go through those river crossings.
Beresford is from Wagga Wagga in New South Wales. He was the fastest Australian in 2016 and has been preparing for the second trophy for the entire past year.
The only lead woman working together with the amateur man is Hayley Smith. And on the flat sections of the high plateau, a strong headwind tortures the riders, and drafting offers a chance to help each other out.
So now I'm going to try and stick with as many men as I can and see how close to the front of the elite men's field I can get, which is a tall order. So I think today there's a lot of climbing today, which suits me as a smaller rider compared to most of the men. So I'm just going to see how long I can hang in there and enjoy it.
And Martin, it wouldn't be a Crocodile Trophy without you. This year you're wearing the green jersey and this is your 8th appearance. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I love this race. I love coming back. And I enjoy pretty much every minute of it. Well, maybe not every minute, but almost. Also, you learn more and more about yourself, about your strengths and weaknesses every year. I'm a big rider, so I'm certainly not a good climber, but on the flats and on the descents, especially the technical ones, I can put the hammer down and see where that leads me at the end of the day.
Martin, there were some hurdles for these riders. Hurdles that weren't expected at the start of the day. Tell us about it.
Not all the gates were unlocked, so the lead vehicle who marks the track in the morning couldn't get to all the sections of the track. And riders like Grant Webster here, he took a detour, and it took a while for him to find the correct trail again. So the UCI had to step in.
Do we have a PA or anything here? So what we've done is got all of their computers, their Garmin's, which has recorded how far they've gone. We have the distance for the race it should have been. Some of them did 2 kilometers extra, some did 11. And so then we have their average speed, and we'll work out the time that they wasted and take that off their time. We've started doing that now, and one of the first riders, it's put him back up into 5th, which is where he said he was, and it looks good.
Onto Lake Tinaroo, a popular spot for fishermen and a paradise for birds on the Atherton tablelands. On its shores, the Crocodile Trophy riders and crew can recover well from the day. And for most, it's the first night in camp, and the winner's celebration takes place before dinner. Eric Decker put the foot down and takes out the overall 2nd place today. The trophy for a stage win in his age group is a boomerang.
Liana Bouchard stays in the elite leader jersey, and Eric Decker takes over the red amateur jersey. Andre Slezak happy to wear the blue Australia jersey.
So after 2 stages, it's a Canadian domination with Bouchard and Esperance leading the way. Atherton, high in the tablelands of far north Queensland, has a population of 6,500. It's the largest town on the tablelands. Agriculture and tourism are the main sources of income. But of course, it is home to the Crocodile Trophy, as it has been for many years. On to stage 3, and the Crocodile riders do a 100-kilometre marathon to the Teapot Equestrian Centre. The track leads through the Herberton State Forest, and with 2,600 metres of elevation, this is the Queen stage this year.
And it turned out to be definitely the hardest stage of the race. There was a lot of climbing going on throughout the entire day. A lot of mechanicals to be had because the descents were tricky as well.
Hayley Smith does well. The rider field is broad with different expectations, experiences and ambitions.
There's
something in it for everyone. The pros get something out of it, as does an addicted hobby rider like me, or someone who just loves cycling.
They all do it because they like it. It's an experience for me too. I didn't know, or I still don't know what's going to happen and what it is. I got a taste of it now, 3 days, and I love it. But it's an adventure, and it counts for everybody.
I find that no matter the discipline, the mountain bike culture and the group of people who mountain bike are really inclusive, and they're really easygoing and fun to be around. So it doesn't matter if you're camping or if you're in a hotel or if you're at a World Cup, it feels like a fun place to be. So it's not been that hard to get used to.
It's fun, it's hard, and with today's brutal stage, this legendary race once again confirms its reputation as the hardest mountain bike stage race in the world. It's going through remote regions, and the climbs are long and steep.
In the Outback, the riders are on their own when it comes to mechanicals, but the camaraderie amongst them is strong, and when you need support, somebody will give it to you.
In the heat of far north Queensland, river crossings are most welcome. For the bodies and the bikes, it's a real cool down. It takes concentration and tough equipment to get through every day. On this occasion, we accompanied the Australian, the Tasmanian, Michael Wilson, into the finish of stage 3.
Yeah, well, I knew Phil Anderson had done it, and I spoke to him about it, and he recommended it, and it's just one of those things, it's a long way away. It's for everyone, and it's difficult. And if you're in a little bit good condition, I'm getting older, so if I don't do it now, I'll probably never do it. It's like on my bucket list.
The Austrian Peter Oerdl is on the attack today, and his very specific and intense race preparations back home are paying off. Because of his super strong ride, he is rewarded with a green jersey and takes it off my shoulders on that day. He prefers the climbs. The steep ascents and also the flats are not for him. Some of the guys are pushing harder, and so his plan is there to stick on their wheel and hopefully hang on.
The Russian marathon national champion Anton Sinstov is riddled with bad luck this year. After breaking his seat post on day one, he now has a mechanical problem on the back wheel, and he loses a lot of time. He makes it across the finish, but is very disappointed.
At the end of the stage, the riders get fresh leader jerseys. Andrej Slezak, originally from the Czech Republic, is in the Australian jersey, and Peter Oertel, the fastest Austrian.
From racing to relaxation, and this is a typical town in the outback of far north Queensland. Welcome to Herberton, founded in the late 19th century after the discovery of tin. At its peak, Herberton was the richest tin mining field in Australia and was home to 17 pubs, 2 local newspapers and a brewery. And tin mining, well, it ceased in Herberton in 1978, but it's still a pretty historic village and reminds visitors of years gone by.
Never rains here, yeah, and it's always warm, so what's going on?
Day 4 and the weather has changed. It started raining cats and dogs.
Yeah, nice weather, a little bit cooler, a little bit damp, so keep the dust down, which is good.
The Australian Daniel Beresford doesn't mind the conditions. He has a good race today. The distance, 122 kilometres to the finish at the Skyberry Coffee Plantation.
River crossings are on the daily menu, and riders are bravely putting up with the wet weather. Throughout the day, though, it is getting drier, and Australians once again start to shine at the front of the race. Team categories are popular this year. Bart de Rage and Brenton Skirky from Cairns are leading the general team classification that they take on each day together.
In the mixed pairs, the 2 Austrians on their honeymoon are leading the category. What a way to have a holiday.
Romana says, we saw a report of the Croc Trophy, and for our honeymoon our friends gave us a mountain bike holiday. And we both looked at each other and said, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And had a goal from there on, signed up, and here they are. They made it 4 weeks and they had a great holiday, landed in Brisbane, drove up by car, and were enjoying this entire week leading up to the race. After the hard race, they're rewarding themselves with another holiday in Sydney.
The lead riders are racing in a class of their own. Esperance and Bouchard are at the feed station in the outback. It's important to look after body and bike. The final sprint into Skyberry, and the Canadian Bouchard keeps his narrow lead ahead of Esperance.
Australian Andrej Slezak gets a 3rd overall and explains what made him come back to the Croc for the 3rd time.
For me, it's the best holiday. You know, I don't have reception in here. No one is bothering me. I have no business phone calls, no emails, nothing. For me, it's just the best holiday. Just ride a bike, you know, talk to the same-minded people, eat and sleep. That's all.
Onto the Skyberry Cafe, nestled in the heart of Australia's coffee-growing region in Mareeba. This has become one of the top visitor attractions on the Atherton tablelands, known not only for its purest Australia Arabica coffee, but also its breathtaking views, great hospitality, and the freshest red papayas and bananas straight from the farm. It was founded by the McLaughlin family. Skyberry is Australia's largest exporter of Arabica coffee.
As far as we're concerned, mountain bike riders really appreciate world-class coffee, and you know, we've really enjoyed supporting the Croc Trophy over the years now. It's a fantastic venue to host the riders. The riders love it, and it just allows us to showcase what we do on the farm, and more importantly, the tropical North Queensland region as well.
Andrej Slezak wins the stage in the amateur A2 age group, and with him on the podium is Alex Malone and his teammate Michael Kafka.
So after 4 stages at the Croc Trophy, it's Bouchard leading by 1 minute and 32 seconds from Esperance, with Eric Decker, the former road pro, in 3rd place.
Stage 5 starts and finishes in Skyberry, and it's a 125-kilometer marathon, the longest stage of this year's Crocodile Trophy.
Andrei Slezak attacks the field from the start, but he's caught quickly. And then it's Eric Decker who dominates the field. The two Canadians go with him and the tempo increases. In today's second half of the race, it's all about defending and fighting for positions. Everyone is riding at their absolute limit, and that can lead to accidents. The races are looked after by a doctor accompanying the race.
She
says, of course, we also had some serious crashes that she had to stitch up, and that the problem is that the wounds in the outback are usually covered in quite a lot of dirt, which needs to be washed out thoroughly before you can actually stitch it up.
During
the race, I have to be out on track. This is really important and also a requirement by the UCI. These are steep descents, for instance, and I need to be stationed in the vicinity of those hot spots to be at a potential incident quickly.
And because of increasing fatigue, it's getting harder to refill those energy reserves. Dehydration in these hot temperatures of up to 35 degrees is a huge threat.
I think I drank almost 7 liters today over the course of the stage, and I'm feeling a little lightheaded still, so the heat was definitely hard.
The feed stations provide the riders with fresh fruit, electrolyte drinks, water, as well as energy gels and muesli bars.
This is the Mariba wetlands, which are a wildlife paradise and a tropical oasis. The riders are sweating. Andrei Slezak among the amateur field after a flat tyre here. With you, Martin Wasata, you're fighting for every second to make up some time.
I am indeed, and it was a great opportunity to get some time back. Unfortunately, not enough.
Peter Wordle is hot on your heels on this particular occasion, Martin. It's relentless in the outback. And the three are working in the front together. They include Esperance Bouchard and Eric Decker, the top 3 on the overall classification. The finish is in Skybury. It's getting closer, and Decker knows that the Canadians have to keep each other in check. He attacks just before the finish. The flat sections are working in his favour. Since 2006, he has been retired from professional racing, but he still loves cycling. It's a stage victory with a 20-second gap for the amateur leader and Dutch ex-pro.
Today I gave everything. I had pain, I was cramping all over, but I kept thinking, stay at it, and just finish. I was prepared to suffer a lot. I knew that the Canadians have their narrow gap to worry about, and they have to win the general classification. I have a gap of 53 minutes already. For me today, it was now or never. Had I become third today, I would have been proud also. I'm happy. I'm very tired now.
And the arrival of the Canadians, they come home together, Esperance and Bouchard.
It's pretty cool. Halfway through the stage, I was just thinking how lucky I am to be like doing this super cool race, and you know, with the retired road pro, super lucky, and it was a lot of fun.
Celebrations all around for Eric Decker and his girlfriend.
The Crocodile Trophy stays at Skybury, and the riders are eating, drinking, and enjoying the tropical views from the cafe. They also have the opportunity to have their tired muscles treated by a physiotherapist.
The back usually hurts them, and also the upper backside of the thighs, also the calves. He's trying to loosen these muscles, and it's about really getting into there deep and trying to assist those muscles to remove all the lactic acid built up over the day.
On to the winner's ceremony at Skybury, and it's Eric Decker who gets the traditional boomerang for the stage victory. It's a brilliant morning ahead for day 6. The camp life has established itself well. Again, it's time to pack, and the excitement is building with only 3 days to go.
102 kilometers on the cards today. We're going further north to the Weatherby cattle station. Field stays together in the beginning of the race, and the pace is very high because the sections are pretty flat. Andrei Slezak unfortunately becomes one of the victims of the peloton dynamics. He crashes pretty hard and has to retire from the race. with a broken collarbone.
This time it's the fastest Australian finisher from last year, Daniel Beresford, who gets into the breakaway with the Canadians, Bouchard and L'Esperance.
Highway crossing is supervised by the UCI commissaires, and the riders have to get off their bikes and cross it safely.
And again, the welcome cool down. After 6 days of tough racing, everyone is looking forward to the ever-approaching finish on 4 Mile Beach.
My butt is hurting, my whole left side is hurting, my head is hurting, everything, but my mind is still there, so that's the most important thing.
Actually, I feel okay today. I think because I'm from New Zealand, I think I'm finally getting used to the heat.
A surprise winner in his own category was the Belgian rider Jean-Luc de Bruckier. His family didn't rate him before the tour.
Ik heb dat deze zomer ook al ondervonden. Daar zijn we gaan downhillen.
You see, in the downhill races that I do with my son, he said, "You can't come with me anymore, you're too slow. I always have to wait for you." Now I'm glad to race the Crocodile Trophy by myself, otherwise he'd be laughing at me again.
Ja, misschien.
If I don't have to always wait for you, Papa, I'll race the trophy with you one day.
Some great father and son banter, but it's a hard day for the 3 breakaway racers. The sun is burning hot.
The further it goes on, the better I get, the better I feel. So it's I think a lot of the training paid off, and very happy.
The Wetherby Cattle Station is one of the oldest in Australia. Established in 1878, it offered refuge and provisions for gold seekers who travelled between Port Douglas and the goldfields along the historic Buff Track. It will be home for the Croc camp for 2 nights. While the race is decided out on track, the camp construction is in full swing at the station. After 6 days, the crew is working together well.
Wetherby is in the tropics. We're 16 degrees south of the equator, so we're in the true tropics. We have a wet season which goes from Christmas time till Easter time, when we have a bit over 1 metre of rain, most of it falling in that wet season. And now that the Croc Trophy is on, it is in our dry season, so people come and camp here and stay here, and mountain biking is quite a popular sport.
So after 6 stages, Bouchard still leads this race. The margin, 91 seconds from L'Esperance. With Eric Dicker in 3rd place, the first Australian is Daniel Beresford.
We're up all night to get lucky. We're up all night to get lucky.
It's the last long marathon stage of the race, a 78-kilometer circuit around Wetherby. And it's in the Coranda National Park, a real croc treat for the riders, with a dense rainforest and so unique Australian surroundings.
It's the start, and the racers leave nothing out on track, right from the first metre. And after a few early attacks, a lead group of 6 establishes itself, and again it's the duo of Bouchard and L'Esperance who attack and break away successfully.
The Japanese rider Hiroyuki Okamoto is at the Croc for the 2nd time and has a strong race today.
Hot condition. I don't like the hot. Yeah, very hard. I'm so big tired.
It's tiring for all the riders, and it takes determination to back up one hard day after the other, one marathon after the other on the rough terrains in this incredible part of the world. It's an incredible achievement just to finish.
I told my really crazy bike friend at work that I'm going to do the Crocodile Trophy, and he was like, "You are not. I would never do that." And I was like, then I started to realize what I talked myself into.
Daniela Ross is the leading amateur rider. She has a strong race and will join a league of very special mountain bikers who can call themselves Crocodile Trophy finishers in just a few days' time.
Die
Gerhard Schirmbacher is the Crocodile Trophy's owner, and he says the trophy is the oldest and most legendary mountain bike stage race in the world. He's established a cooperation with the world's first road cycling and sports event for peace. It takes place in the Middle East. It's called the Middle East Peace Tour. It'll start in Amman, the capital of Jordan, before entering the Dead Sea into the Palestinian territory, before finishing in Jerusalem after 7 days.
Here we hear from Koenraad van Schuren, the general manager of the Croc Trophy. I've been working with Gerhard at the Alpentour and also the Crocodile Trophy for a couple of years now. And as of this year, I've become the general manager for the Croc Trophy. It means I will continue to get more involved in the organizational aspects of the event. And we also have decided to combine the Belgian Mountain Bike Challenge, the Alpentour, the Croc Trophy and the Middle East Peace Tour into a group of events from now on.
Nauwer te laten samenwerken.
Day 7 is ending, and the kitchen crew is busy preparing dinner. On the menu tonight, beefsteaks. And there's always plenty of good food on offer. The riders can help themselves to as much as they want. There's 20 litres of milk, and at least 15 dozen eggs are used up daily, as well as 65 kilograms of meat. Pasta, of course it's popular. The camp goes through 50 kilograms of dry pasta if it's on the menu on any given day. Eating is very important in the Crocodile Trophy.
John Colles from Weatherby is distributing the leader jerseys today. Daniel Beresford will be at the start of tomorrow's stage in the Australian leader jersey, and Peter Oertel has a solid grip on the green Austrian jersey.
The atmosphere is pretty casual. We talk to each other, so at the beginning I did not know much except my Canadian fellow, and now I know a little bit more about somebody else. I even get some invitation to coming back in Australia, but if I got hey, if you come in Australia again, let me know. So it's nice.
The chief mechanic in the Crocodile Trophy is Klaus Sieber. A long night ahead for Klaus. Everything must be perfect for the individual time trial into Port Douglas on the following day.
Says that we are looking after all the participants here. Small and big problems, it's mainly wear and tear. Chains, brake pads, gear cables, lots of sand in the bikes. Of course, there's sometimes more serious mechanicals, but so far, luckily, we've been able to fix them all.
On to the final day of the Croc Trophy for 2017. And after packing up, it's time to race. There are nerves among the riders. This is the final chance to impress. The time trial is held on the infamous bump track. The slowest rider goes first, and the rest of the field competes in reverse order. It's an individual time trial. The start gaps are 30 seconds apart.
2, 1, go!
This race will be inscripted in my heart forever.
I think that I'm going to have to make sure I don't kill myself on the downhill.
For me, it's going to be a beautiful ride with riding into Port Douglas, which I've never seen before.
Every rider is fighting for him and herself today. It's a race against the clock. There's no place to hide.
It starts undulating with a few river crossings, then onto the very steep technical bump track, and onto one of the most beautiful finishes in any mountain bike races in the world, this beach in Port Douglas.
Oh, too big.
And this is what they've come for. Port Douglas 4 Mile Beach. It's paradise for the tourists and paradise for the riders. After 8 long days in the saddle, they arrive home.
Peter Oertel says that really everything has come together so well. Only one flat tire, no other mechanicals, and the personal performance was really excellent.
It's paradise for the Aussies as well. This year, the Croc Trophy enjoyed its biggest local field from its home country. The strongest ever amateur field in the history of the event.
I got the jersey under some circumstances with the rider falling off, but you know, it's I've got the jersey, but I'm very happy. But yeah, to get it again is spectacular.
I didn't think that I would win a stage here, especially the longest stage. I'd never been on a mountain bike for that long, 120 or 125 kilometers on that day.
In the elite category, it really has been a battle from start to finish between the two Canadians, Leandre Bouchard and Andrew L'Esperance. Just 90 seconds separated the two riders.
Leandre and I raced hard against each other all week. We were very evenly matched. In the end, it was day one where I was a little behind that cost me the race, but it was a great competition and I really enjoyed it.
Bouchard defends his overall race lead and is crowned champion.
It was really fun and it was exciting this morning to start with the TT. So I was really looking for that and I'm glad that I made it still in the leader jersey today again.
You know, obviously it's gorgeous, but you're also just suffering like mad. So it's a pretty interesting contrast, but it's definitely the most spectacular finish I've ever had in a bike race. It's pretty cool.
So after 8 stages, after 8 long days, these are the final standings for the Crocodile Trophy. A Canadian domination, Bouchard and L'Esperance in first and second positions. Decker in third, Daniel Beresford, the best of the Aussies, ahead of Ben May. This was the 23rd Crocodile Trophy, which once again lived up to its reputation of the hardest, toughest and most beautiful mountain bike race.
Thank you.
With images from the winners' celebrations on 4 Mile Beach, it's a farewell from us from Port Douglas, and we'll be back in tropical North Queensland next year.
It's a beautiful day.